What's going on, movie fans? Welcome back to the JBuck Studios channel, your home of reviews, reactions, and ridiculousness. And all day long, I have been binge-watching the Season 2 of the Netflix series, Sex Education. While Otis is dealing with his own sexual awakening, his school is overcome by a chlamydia outbreak, which in turn forces administration to establish a better sex education, and all binge-watch. So does Season 2 of Sex Education grow into something that you're very much interested in? Let's find out. But before I get into my thoughts, let me know what you guys thought of Season 1 or parts of Season 2 if you've already watched them, or if you're very much looking forward to binging all of this weekend. So Season 1 of Sex Education was a show that I honestly just stumbled upon. I think that Netflix was pushing it towards me, and I saw the title. Honestly, I think the first 5 minutes of the show, and I was like, what is this show with high schoolers and this kid giving sex education advice to these kids and them doing all of this stuff? And the thing is, you know, the show very much tackles concepts that as a high schooler I was into. I had a lot of questions. I didn't know what the heck was going on. So that's what I loved about this first season of the show. But then once Season 1 got done, then Season 2 picks up, you know, essentially right after. I think it's a couple weeks, but all of our characters have grown. They're on different paths. Otis is with his girlfriend Ola. Him and Maeve aren't seeing eye to eye. Adam's character had to go off to military school. Eric is kind of waiting for him to potentially come back. There's a lot of interesting concepts and where the characters wind up in this show. But getting into Season 2, I would say that I was thoroughly impressed by kind of what they did with it, because they very much kind of kept, again, this weird concept of, is this future, is this past, is it the 80s, is it modern, because everyone has phones, but there's all of these TVs and phones and whatnot, and outfits that very much date it back to the 80s, along with the music. The music in this show, again, ramps up. I wouldn't say ramps up, but very much is on par with the first season, but then also throwing in some great 80s tunes as well. But it also leans a little bit into the 90s. Like, I was watching, and one episode Hadaway's What Is Love playing, and I just instantly had to start bobbing my head. But getting into, I guess, the meat of this series is the situations the characters have to deal with. And again, I would say that Season 1, obviously it's called Sex Education, it's tackling sex education for these high schoolers. And the mom is also a sex therapist and whatnot. But in this Season 2, I would say it very much focuses on sex, and it very much focuses on education. But I think that they took that educational part and almost ramped it up a little bit more, because it touches on a lot of different concepts in this one. Without giving spoilers away, it touches on sexual assault, relationships, communication in those relationships, kind of giving your partner what you want, what you don't want, relationships in general, long-term relationships, commitment, cheating, divorce, sexual orientation, self-harm, suicide. It tackles a lot of, I would say, heavy topics in this, and the thing is, it introduces these concepts and very much plays them in a comedic manner. But then as the series continues until episode 8, it very much dives into each one of these and almost frames it in this serious manner, and how characters can talk about it, and it's not only happening to themselves, it's happening to a lot of other people, and how to accept the problem or things that are happening to you, communicate about it, and then find a solution to those more serious topics. Like the one with the sexual assault, I mean, I thought that they handled it very, very well. You know, they played it into the comedy, but then they found a resolution for the character at the end of episode 8, or the end of Season 2. But then diving into kind of where the characters have gone, you know, Otis is dealing with his girlfriend Ola, and then Maeve, who don't see eye to eye in this series, and it's this thing having to deal with, can this person be my friend, can this person be my relationship person, and can they get together and be the same? But then also going through this Season 2, it brings in a couple more characters. Eric is dealing with Adam, who comes back from military academy and whatnot in a roundabout way. I won't say how. But then there's a new kid that comes to school, Rahim, and they have a relationship. It's kind of this weird love triangle and whatnot. So them going back and forth with one another is very interesting. I will say that there's also a character that plays opposite of Maeve's character, someone else that moves into the trailer park, and they have an interesting dynamic as well, and she learns from him, he learns from her, and I like that. It very much leaves those characters in a place that I'm curious to see where maybe a season 3 will go and whatnot. But then there's also not only the kids in this season. The season 2 or season 1, I thought, kind of focused more on the kids and the relationships and the problems that they were dealing with. Season 2 actually dives into more of the problems that kids have, but also the adults. I mean, again, there's one relationship between two teachers that they cannot communicate in the bedroom. They don't see eye to eye. Their personalities are very much different. So it's sort of that educational part of those characters and figuring out which one wants what. But then also, yeah, again, the divorce. There's divorce in this season. And it's interesting how a character or how a relationship over time can just, you fall into this comfortable state. And I liked how they touched on all of these different aspects. Also, a sex addiction. There's a hint of that in this series. But some of the side characters, I felt like they had a more of a spotlight in episode or season 1 and were borderline sidelined in this season 2. Again, maybe I'm misremembering some of this stuff, but for example, the side character of Lily, I liked her in season 1 and I thought that she had more to do. In this one, she kind of has a friendship with Ola's character, but it's not focused on too much. Overall though, this series, season 2, I would say is definitely a step up from season 1. Maybe right on par with season 1, because I liked how they almost tackled things in a more serious manner in this season. And again, like I mentioned, it very much leaves these characters on, I wouldn't say a cliffhanger, because none of them, it's not like someone was murdered and then they're like, oh my gosh, who was it? But it's very much putting these characters in interesting positions and situations where it's like, what's going to happen? We need a season 3 because these characters are very much growing on me and I like them. Again, I thought that this season did a fantastic job of tackling the humor, the sex part of the show, that was really drawing people into this series, but then also tackling the educational part. So sex education, it's very much equal playing field for both those words. I mean, this season, I would highly recommend. I would definitely go check it out. I probably wouldn't binge it unless you have 8 hours, it's snowy, you don't got nothing else to do, because spoiler, that's what's going on here, a snowstorm. But yeah, if you haven't checked out season 1 or season 2, I'd recommend checking these out. These are fun, these are interesting. Asa Butterfield as the main character, Otis, is phenomenal, and all of the characters that play around him, his mother as Gillian Anderson, playing this actual like adult sex therapist and whatnot. She has a lot to deal with, so it's just this interesting concept. And again, if you watch season 1, season 2, you're gonna love. If you haven't checked out any of these, give a couple episodes a try and then make a judgment call from there. Anyways, in closing, I'm gonna give season 2 of Sex Education 4.2 out of 5 awkward erections. So what did you guys think of season 2? If you've already binge watched this weekend, or if you're very much looking forward to it in this next weekend, this next coming weeks, let me know in the comments down below. And also, were you a fan of season 1? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there or right over there. You know, brand new movie reviews, trailer reactions, fun comedy skits, all sorts of stuff on the JBuck Studios channel. You know, Doolittle, a movie review for, oh my gosh, that movie review is coming tomorrow. I have some things to say about Doolittle. Be sure to check that out tomorrow. Follow all of my social media, click that subscribe button, like this video, share this video, and until next time, I'll see you later.